Hello everybody, welcome to, we've got a build today, so it's a let's build, so welcome to a let's build. Ah boy, I stuffed this up already. So today we are building one of my Let's Play Good vs Evil homes in Willow Creek, and this is a base game only build, and it is for my bush family who live on the Hallow Slough lot. I actually really like to play on this lot. It's quite a good placement for a lot because you get quite a few collectibles and stuff. You can run around and yeah, it's quite a good rags to riches kind of lot. So anyway, back to the build. So for this family, they are, you know, the movie Princess Bride, and there's a scene where Princess Buttercup, or Buttercup as she was talking about Wesley and how he was poor but perfect. So this was kind of the inspiration for this family, was that line from that movie, is poor but perfect. So they're a family of 4. So we have Ben and Barry, and they've adopted their twins Bruce and Brooke. So yeah, so they used to have a bit more money, but they've run into some trouble along the way, and yeah, long story short, they've had to downsize their home and they've moved to Willow Creek on the Hallow Slough lot, and they're trying to make the best of things with their cute, perfect little babies. Aww. I think they're little toddlers. Yes, they are toddlers. Good old Bruce and Brooke. So this house isn't going to be a particularly flashy or expensive looking house. It's going to be quite small, and it's just basically what these guys could afford. It's going to have like a few similarities, I guess, to the Worst build for the Worst family in a way. It's not going to be so run down, and you know, because they're going to put some effort into their house and maintaining it and that sort of thing, but it will sort of have a grey and dingy look because they can't afford, you know, to maintain these beautiful bright paints that they want. And the front porch area is going to be a little bit run down and broken. It's going to have sort of, the roof has been caving in, and there's plants and stuff growing up there. So yeah, that's sort of the vibe we're going for in this house lot. So it's not going to be like a super pretty house, but I think it suits the characters and their current story. So yeah, I think that's really nice. So I'm just working on the front little porch area, which used to be covered in but isn't anymore because it's sort of fallen into disrepair and they couldn't afford to repair the roof before they moved in. And it has gotten a little overgrown, but because they've got the twins, they have been quite busy with looking after them, and they haven't gotten around to all the repairs yet in the house. So I'm just putting the greenery on top of the little porch area. So I mean, I think it's kind of pretty anyway with the greenery there, but it is sort of an idea. The idea behind that is it is a bit overgrown, and they need to get to that. And they don't have a proper foundation as such, so they've got the little pile kind of foundations there. It's like the house has kind of been plopped on the lot. It's like, this is all we could afford. Sorry. So it is on a starter house budget as well. So 20 odd K, I think, with the 2 adults there. So around about 20,000 for this build. And I'm just sort of working on different ideas. This particular idea didn't work. I was trying to get like that fenced and down, and yeah, it just wasn't working. So I came up with a different idea for the kidlies, because I wanted to have like a little safe space for the kids to play in and that sort of thing. Because they don't have a fence around the yard, because they couldn't afford the whole fence around the yard thing. So yeah, poor kids. Actually, literally, they are little poor kids, but that's okay. They are loved and they are a happy family, and that's what's important. So just because we're not going to have all of the things doesn't mean they can't have a full and happy childhood. There we go. So yeah, so this is a 2-story home, and as I said, it is quite a small home. So there isn't a lot of room there. So we're going to have the 2 bedrooms upstairs, and it is going to be a 2 bedroom and 1 bathroom home, I think. Yes, that would be right. So we're going to have the 2 bedrooms upstairs and the single bathroom downstairs. And I'm just working on the layout of the bedroom upstairs, because the trouble was obviously just making sure I had the room where they could get upstairs and then still get to the, the second bedroom. So I was just working that out there. And there's going to be a little porch upstairs, which is fenced because for safety reasons. I've got kids, they've got to be able to afford the fence up there. Yeah, so just doing a little porch up the top, which is going to be a nice little place for them to hang out in the evenings, I think. And I'm just changing the fencing to grey because I was thinking about it, and yeah, that's when I was thinking about the colour scheme for the house and what would work really well for these guys, and grey kind of makes sense. I mean, it's a little bit drab, but that was the whole point, was it had to be a bit drab for their lifestyle and what they can afford. Alright, so up to the roof. This one isn't a tricky one, so that's nice. Because these roofs, as you know, can be quite troublesome at times, but this one wasn't too bad to sort. I did need to, I think, readjust a few things with the layout, so I did fiddle around with that a little bit. Yeah, so I did go out on the side. I just wanted a bit of an overhang and a bit of shape to that side of the house, because it was really quite flat just going down. So that was how that eventuated. I just didn't want to have a whole big flat house down the side. So I was like, let's just poke the room out at the top a little bit. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having a little bit more room in one of the bedrooms upstairs. So just colouring the roofing and just going for a basic a slate. Is that kind of the word we're going for there? It's just a basic grey coloured, and again that just goes with the drab sort of vibe of the house. And I'll probably need to change that fencing to a different colour as well. Oh yeah, there we go. So just changing it to the grey, although it wasn't like super dark and grey, so it doesn't look too shabby, which is kind of what I was aiming for. Right, so just looking at the windows and just going for the cheaper grey windows with the curve on the inside. So I think they still look nice, but they don't cost too much, which is very important in a starter home build, because that money just disappears so quickly, and like landscaping is basically a non-event sometimes when it comes to these starter home builds. I'm just getting the lighting in because I remembered that for once, and I'll need to take out that wall there. Yeah, there we go. So got a little bit of space up there. So that's going to be the master bedroom off to the side there, and then the kids' bedroom, they're going to have to share a room, is going to be to the left. It wasn't quite as big, but I think it's still quite a roomy bedroom for the kids, so that's okay. Just doing the doors, and I just went for a plain grey door, as again I think that suited the vibe of the house. I'm just putting a low wall around the stairs just for safety for the kids, and we're going to put the bathroom in behind the stairs. And as you see, there is not a lot of room for the kitchen and living room downstairs, so we're going to have to, and the dining area, so we're going to have to squish that in, but that's okay. So we're going to have cribs for, oh no, they must be infants, not toddlers. Whoops. So they're infants, not toddlers, because we're putting in cribs. Or I got that wrong, one of the two. You know how I am with my memory, and I just like forget, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be infants rather than toddlers, since I'm putting in cribs. And putting in these lovely new rugs that we got with the infant update. I think they're so cute, and they're great to have something, a little bit different that we can put in with our Basegame only builds. So it's lovely. So Bruce and Brooke, obviously boy and a girl, so I went with a blue crib and a pink crib in the Blanco range, because I actually really like that range. And I went for the yellow in the dresser. I'm going to just put a few little toys in there for the kids so that they can develop and carry on. And, you know, get their imagination skill up and social skills and all that sort of thing. So I think I'm just having a little play around just to try and get what I want on there, and just make sure that I'm using the space to the best that I can, because there really isn't a lot of room. So I'm going to put the toys on the floor and a bit of clutter up on the dresser is what I ended up deciding on there. And we got that lovely bright rug. I love those little rainbow rugs, and I love that there's the dinosaur ones as well. I think those are really cool. And our first bookcase going in there so they can do a little bit of reading as well, so that's the entertainment. And putting in the mobiles that overhang the cribs so that they're lying there and they can look up at those and, yeah, use their imagination. Okay, and we're going on to the master bedroom, and we're putting in a basic bed here. I was very conscious of the fact that money is ticking down, and I didn't want to put anything too expensive in there. And there is enough rooms that obviously both the guys can get on both sides. So I made sure that there was a big enough bedroom so that they could do that, and a bit of basic decoration and a chair out on the porch so they could sit there in the evenings. The kids are in bed and they can just enjoy the peace and quiet in the neighbourhood. And I'm just doing a little bit of an overhang with the roof. I decided that I wanted to have that look, and just having a bit of a play around with the porch downstairs, the little overhang porch, and putting in some more columns to make sure the house is supported okay, so it doesn't look like the house is going to fall over at any point. Okay, so let's get this painted. So as I said, we're going to go with a grey, so keeping up with the sort of the drabs. We're doing our best, but we can't afford a lot theme. Oh, but perfect. Yeah, so we went with the basic grey clapboard, and we're going for the grey flooring as well, just in the cheaper $4 simoleon range, because we don't want to go again too expensive when we've still got the bathroom, kitchen and living area and dining to put in there. So just working on the bathroom, our one and only bathroom, I was conscious of the fact that we needed to have a bath. And yes, I know you can bathe the kids in the bath, I mean in the sink, or the infants in the sink, but I think, you know, a bath, particularly with twins, is kind of a must-have. So yeah, so I was just working out the space for how we're going to fit that bath in that particular space, but I managed to make that work. We've got the toilet, and we're going to need a potty as well at some point. So yeah, I don't know if I remember to put one of those in, but that's going to be a necessity. And just working on the living room area, because we didn't have a lot of space, but the interior I am going quite drab and grey again, just keeping up with that whole theme, because there will be bits and pieces of colour here and there, particularly around the kids, because Ben and Barry basically spend everything they have on the kids. That's what it comes down to. So the bright things in their life are the children, so they're the ones that have the bright things in the build. So we're just going to have a bit of outdoor dining here, so putting in the outdoor chairs, and there will be a couple of high chairs going in there, and they don't match, but they will have some bright colours. So once again, that's keeping that up with that theme, that the kids bring the colour to their lives. It will be a very basic kitchen. We are down to 5,000 simoleons, so yeah, as I said, that money is ticking down very rapidly. And just going with white and grey in the kitchen, just keeping it really basic. There's not a lot of space to work with, and I am conscious of the costs and stuff involved, and we still haven't done like the wallpaper and nothing on the outside, and yeah. The disappearing money. Always happening. Okay, so we've managed to fit in like a living area and a kitchen, and we're just putting in a dining table on the inside as well, just in case it's a miserable rainy day and they want to eat inside. There wasn't space for the table so you could go all around, unfortunately, but I thought, well, the priority would be the high chairs, so they'd have the high chairs and one parent sitting there, and the other parent could sit on the couch and eat. So that made sense to me. So just getting a few more of the windows in, and we're ticking down on that cash down to 3,800. But I think that's not too bad. I think we're looking in pretty decent shape considering. Chances are I'll probably run out of money again because you know how I build. But I'll do my best not to, I think, on this one. And just getting the windows into the upstairs area so that you guys have some beautiful views from the upstairs rooms. It'll be pretty. I actually quite like those windows. I think they're pretty decent for a cheap 50 simoleon window. Very useful for the old starter homes, that's for sure. I don't know if I could afford curtains, unfortunately, for the windows, but I'm getting some flooring in, and once again, just the cheap sort of flooring, and getting the walls in. So we're going for a grey tile in the bathroom, and I'm just, I went for a white tile. Did I go for a white tile? No, a brown tile in the bathroom, and I'm just working on the walls, which are going to be a plain grey. Plain grey there. And doing some tiles on the walls, and again, that's in a grey. So, yeah. All sort of coordinated in shades of grey. But not 50 Shades of Grey, it's not that kind of family. No. No, there's no dungeon in this particular build, that's for sure. So just getting a little bit of decoration in there, so just some of the cheaper rugs, and a little bit of splash of fanciness for these guys. And getting in the rug for the upstairs bedroom as well. And I went for the little cheap upsized baby rug, but you know, I think it still kind of works. And I'm just working on the wallpaper in the master bedroom and then through to the kids bedroom, and I'll just probably use the same as downstairs for the hallway area. That's what I usually do. And yeah, so nice and bright, nice and bright and colourful in the kids' rooms, because that's where the colour in their lives are. So yeah, I think that's kind of sweet. So just going to change over the lighting. So we're going to take out the basic lighting here and switch that over to probably something only marginally less basic, because they can't afford too much. We're down to 2,700, and lighting is not cheap. But yeah. Oh, and just changing over the stairs as well, because I don't like that cheapest stair shade of grey. It's just got a really green tinge to it. So yeah, I wanted to change that. So just using the basic round lighting in the kids' rooms in the pink and the blue. So that sort of matches their room, which is, I think is cute. And I went for the round ball. It's kind of like the paper lantern kind of light, isn't it? So I went with that one around the rest of the house, because I mean that one's nice and cheap, and it gives off a decent amount of light. Some of these lights just don't give off enough light, you know, and that can be a bit frustrating, so you have to use too many of them and you end up spending lots of money. And look, I could afford curtains. Yay, that's amazing. I'm down to 700 simoleons, but we have curtains, so I think that's amazing. for this build. I wasn't sure whether or not I did manage to get the curtains in, but I did. So getting the basics in with the rubbish bin and the mailbox around the front. And I'm just working out what I'm going to do with the landscaping, because we're down to 500 simoleons, so I'm going with trees so they look a little bit more like this, less green when you look at the lawn, and it's there's a little bit of something to break that up. And I'm doing a bit of terrain paint for some pathways, so there's going to be a little area that they could play under the trees at, and something a little path to take them out of the yard to the front street and round to the back if they want to as well. So I think that breaks up the lawn, and doesn't cost too much to do the terrain paint, obviously, as well. So I mean, it doesn't cost anything to do the terrain paint, so it breaks up all the plainness of just having the lawn. And then let's see what we can spend 400 simoleons on to landscape the rest of the house. So I'm going with sort of rather than flowers, I went with all the grasses and the greenery. I thought that kind of worked better with the type of house they had. Having a lot of high maintenance kind of flowers didn't make sense for these guys. I mean, they certainly love the outside and they love greenery and that sort of thing, but they don't have the money to maintain things and buy fancy flowers and pretty things like that. So yeah, unfortunately I just couldn't do flowers in this particular build. It just didn't quite work for these guys, but that's okay. And I think I'm just going to go and change the porch around a little bit because, as I said, that just didn't work. That was I'm going to come back and fix that later kind of deal, you know. It's like, I can't get this to work the way that I want it to, so yeah, we'll fix this later. So this is unfortunately for me later where I had to fix it. So I was thinking about what I was going to do and ended up having putting it on a little area there at the back of the house, so it was kind of less to spend on the fencing, which I think made sense. And I was able to give it, because I was thinking about how to give it like a shelter and stuff, and then I was getting, this is going to get expensive and I just don't have the money for it. So by putting it on the back of the house, I'm able to put like a little roofing porchy kind of covered area in there. And I think that worked quite nicely in the end, so that the kids can go outside and have some time out in the fresh air and that sort of thing, and still be shaded from the sun, which, you know, you don't want the sunburnt kiddies. That's not the kind of thing that Ben and Barry would be into, because they love their kids. That's the colour in their lives. So just getting the colour on the roof addition there. And I might put some columns on there as well, because that would make sense. Yeah, there we go. There are the columns making sense there, and all that money is basically gone. So I'm going to spend the last few simoleons on the kids and a bench around the back. Look at that. So I think we got some stuff in there. There's a little play area, and there's plenty of room to add stuff as the family grows and they get a little bit more cash in hand. But at the moment they just really don't have much to do much of anything with anything. But yeah. So I'm going to put in just a bit more terrain paint there to colour it in the garden areas. Just to add a bit more break in all the lawn and the greenery. But I think we did pretty well for 20,000 simoleons. We got a 2-story home, we've got a TV, and we've got a little play area out the back, we've got a bathroom and a couple of dining areas, so I think that's great. Let's take a tour. So as you can see, we've got all the front yard, so we've got a nice dining area out the front, the broken porch, but I don't think that's too ugly, it just needs a bit of repairing. And there's a little porch upstairs with a seat, and going through around to the backyard where we have the little play area for the kids. I think that's kind of sweet and nice and covered in as well for them. And I think that it actually ended up breaking up the plainness of the back area by adding in that extra bit of roofing as well. So I was really happy with that idea when it sprung into my head. So you can sort of see how the broken porch covering there works, and yeah, I think that actually looks really cool. So I think we better have a wee look inside and see how that all turned out. And yeah, it's very grey. It's very plain, and it's exactly what I wanted. So you can sort of see we're going through to the kitchen area here, with the small table and a couple of high chairs and stuff for the kids. So yeah, and then we're going upstairs. There was not a lot to see in the bathroom and stuff, but I kind of forgot to tour it, so we'll go back down and have a wee look at that in a minute. But look at all the colour in the kids' room and the clutter on the dresser. And this is Bruce and Ben and Barry's bedroom there. And I mean, it is plain, but as I said, they spend all their money on the kids. So that's the bathroom downstairs, just in the grey tiling with the brown flooring. But we've got a bath in there and the toilet. We forgot the potty, but that's okay. They don't need it quite yet to being infants, so they'll get that soon. So thanks for watching. You can follow me on YouTube, subscribe even. I'm on the gallery in Sims 4 VelvettB, Pinterest VelvettB Sims, Twitter VelvettBYT, and TikTok VelvettB. All of those places. Oh my. Thank you for watching. Catch you next time. Bye.